wild women, which I really hope we both are. Maddie, I think we are by our age anyway. And we've been having such an interesting conversation before we started the recording. And Maddie, do you want to sort of launch in and say what sparked this conversation off?
Yes, absolutely. So I'm really happy to. Hi, everyone. Lovely, lovely, lovely that you're joining us on screen. I love technology sometimes, don't you? And one of the reasons I love technology is I was on my treadmill this morning and is my new latest health thing. I
Your
don't know how long
latest
it's going to
health
last,
fad.
but I have to. Doop at the moment because quite frankly when I walk the dogs Sue it's all stop and sniff. So I was there and I put on YouTube things that inspire me. And there is someone who really inspires me, Sue. In fact, I've got a slight crush on him. I've admitted this to you before, is Dr. Gabor Maté. Okay, and this was an interview he was doing about his work with patients who are dying. And, this isn't a downer, I promise you this. And he referred to Bonnie Ware's work.
Yeah,
I forgot what it's called, the five regrets of
yeah,
those who are
of the
dying or
dying.
something.
Yeah.
And he went
I think
through
it's the
them,
10
and I
regrets
just
of the
thought,
dying, actually. But anyway, the
what's
first
it
five,
called? Say it again.
I think it's the 10 regrets of the dying, but the first one is the most important.
Exactly. Well, he only picked up on five. I'm going to find the
Mhm.
other five. And listening to him talking briefly about each one was a real reminder to me that we have to live authentically. We
Mm,
have to be in touch with our authentic self, with our emotional truth, and we mustn't disconnect with that inner
mm,
me inside, that little wise one within. And we need to live through that. And yes, the first one was people would say, I wish I'd had the courage to live
yeah,
a life true to myself,
yeah,
not that which others
yeah,
expected of me.
yeah. The
So
expectation, not
if
through
you're
the
sitting
expectations of
there
others. Yeah.
at the moment listening to us, just take a moment to reflect. You living your life, or are you living the life that your parents wanted, your grandparents want, your children expect, your husband or wife expects? Is it really what you want to do?
That
And
is
that,
the most important question that you can ever ask yourself.
yeah,
Who am I?
who am I?
Who am
And what are your personal values? Are you following those? Are you living those? Do you feel good in your skin? Do you feel
I?
I was gonna say proud of yourself. I don't mean proud in, oh, look at me, I got big ego. It's that yeah, I'm doing something good here. It might be small, but it's good.
Yeah, and I think
Right.
I work a lot with people, obviously as an astrologer, helping them to understand what their chart is is showing them. It's the map of who they are. And a lot of people come to me because they don't know. They know there's something, but they haven't quite
Mm,
clicked into it. And when the click happens, it's just lovely. And I was
yeah.
working today with somebody who has a lot of Aries, very out there, very, so I don't know what I'm here to do. I'm out there and I'm doing this, doing that, but I still haven't, I don't understand what the behind
Yeah.
this sort of the meaning behind it. And I think, a lot of when you're working one-to-one, things comes very inspirationally. And I just said, well, you're here to inspire people. You're an
Mm,
inspirer. And she just went, oh my God, of course. And then
mm,
suddenly all this Aries, this fighting, battling Aries
mm,
started to soften into, well, I can use that to inspire. And I think that fundamentally changed her view of herself. That she had a role, but it
mm.
wasn't as this crazed person who's always didn't know she was battling life. And it's so interesting because I work a lot with Bonnie Ware's that
I know because of your
yeah, I
dog
do. Yeah,
cafes and that.
absolutely. And I always say to clients, what is the legacy that you would like to pass
Yeah.
on, to leave behind, but also what do you want to pass on into the zeitgeist? What are the
Mm,
skills, the talents that you have that you feel
mm,
you would like to offer others? And
mm,
it's very interesting. And I always think that that's the key. It isn't about, I'm going to be the big CEO or the
Mm,
famous actor and actress or whatever it is. It's no, we're worker bees.
yeah.
That's how I look at us. We're worker bees, contributing something very important to life, but identifying what that is the
And
key.
and that is really important when you say it's the worker bees, it's the community. And I think that our society in the West is tending now to move away from that community, that family, that extended family. I'll do this for you, you do this for me. You know, it all goes on to, it's all about me, it's all about me, it's
Yeah.
all about me, into that narcissistic space which doesn't really think about the greater good or the community. It is all about me. Not everyone, of course, and anyone watching us, Sue, is not like that at all,
No.
right?
But it
Because they're
is
here with
changing
us.
because Pluto's moved into Aquarius from Capricorn, which was very about me and, my status and all of this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I remember
And
you saying things
yeah, and
like
Aquarius is
now.
different. It's about humanity. I mean, it's
Yeah,
also about technology, and and AI is all part of that. I don't want to go into that right now. But
no.
this that sort of sense of how do we create community? How do we find the tribe?
Mm,
They may not be our family, we can't choose our family, but my goodness me, we can choose the tribe that we're part of. And I find that
absolutely.
really exciting, and I'm seeing that a lot more. Beginning. It's only very early beginnings. Pluto's only
Well,
been in Aquarius for less than a year.
yeah, so it is early beginnings, but
Yeah.
that's encouraging. The pendulum's gone that way, me, and it's slowly coming back, which is encouraging, really, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, a lot of it, I was in the 80s, I remember very much about that was a time when it was all about filofaxes and careers and money and everything. Nothing wrong
Mm,
in that. I'm not bashing
mm.
that at all. Because the second thing he said is people will often say, I wish I hadn't worked so hard, and it's regretting not the fact you worked so hard, but what you lost through doing that. You lost time with friends, you lost introspection, getting to know yourself. You lost
Yeah.
yourself, basically. Your marriage could suffer,
Yeah.
the family could suffer, and all of often at the expense. Relationships and family came at the expense of success in your career, especially for
Mm,
men in those times and their
mm.
enjoyment of life. And he said a very interesting thing which because you got to I think be realistic in these things. We all have to work because we have bills to pay, and that's how our society works. And he said no one has ever regretted, I wish I hadn't worked, or I wish I
Yeah.
hadn't worked hard. He said the
Mm,
key word is so, or to,
mm,
the TOO.
mm.
So
Yeah.
you don't have to work so hard or too hard. And it was interesting because the interviewer turned it back on him and said, but did you work too hard? And he said, yes, I did.
Mm.
He said, I was so wrapped up in the books and my work and my clients and my patients and everything. He said, looking back now, I did work too hard, but I realized early enough. And he said, I stepped back a bit and everything,
Mm.
I recovered and everything benefited. And he said, sometimes he said, I would think, I love this man's humility, actually. He said, well, I can't go on holiday because my patients need me. And he said, that's actually, when you look at it, almost egotistical. Oh,
Yeah.
everything's going to collapse if I go
Yeah.
away. Whereas what you have to do is make sure that they don't need you, he said. They need the appropriate medical care.
They need the
Not you,
appropriate
not
support.
me,
Yeah.
Dr. Maté.
Absolutely.
And I loved
Yeah.
that. I thought, yes, that can apply over many things, Sue. They don't need you, they need what you can give, and someone else can often give
But
that. So
they need
you can go
they
away
need
and rest.
yeah, it's support. Because if you fall down and you're the only one because that's what you set up, then actually you're a victim. Well, you're actually creating the victim,
Yeah,
persecutor, rescuer triangle, aren't you? That's the thing.
absolutely.
And I think that's
Yeah.
really important to be aware of that if you're in a role, one of those roles, that actually, that you're in a self-imposed trap And it is becoming aware of that, that you can step
Mm,
out of that and let other people in to support the work that you
mm.
do. You're not the only one that can do what you do.
Yeah.
You're not. Other will
Yep.
do what you do. They'll do it differently. They'll do it them. But that's the truth.
And it's interesting because he's from in the beginning from the medical profession, and he was saying how a lot of the top doctors, the surgeons, and people like that, or even from GPs to surgeons, often won't take their annual leave because they think, no, no one's going to do it like me.
Yeah,
I can't leave, you know. And it's stepping back and saying no, in
yeah,
which case you need to be involved in training the right people so that
yeah.
that is available. You know, it's
Yes.
just looking at things through a different perspective, a different
Well, it's
lens
passing the
sometimes, I think.
skills on, isn't it? It's not going,
Mm,
I'm so important and I'm going to keep them all to myself. It's about, look, I've got a
yeah.
skill. How can I help other people develop their skill as
Yes.
well? And I think that's what we tend to do. We tend to keep everything to ourselves, and that's not. I don't believe that gives us. I don't believe that gives us happiness. I think the happiness for me is passing things on or passing
And
on what I
sharing,
know. Sorry,
coming back, sharing and coming
sharing.
back to that community. You know, I
Yes,
trained with Donna Reed and I set up the practitioner training in Europe for her. And what I always said to those who are training to be practitioners is you are your own little tribe in your community. Be generous, network, pass a client on to someone else. If you all do that, it flows, and ultimately
yes,
your clients get the best care ever. They get the, you
yeah,
know, well, I'm not too sure I could do that, but I know someone over there who really would be good. And I've done that in my career when I was a practitioner. I've never lost a client because they thought, my goodness, Maddie's prepared to send me to someone else for this specific thing, you know, an acupuncturist
yeah,
or something like that. Um, she must have my well-being at heart, and so the loyalty comes. And you know, I really try to encourage, and I think that European practitioners do have that. They will network, and they've kept their community, and it's as it should be. And at the base of it, Sue, is this four-letter word beginning with F, which we all are motivated by sometime, which is fear. They fear lack, they fear poverty, they fear there's not enough. Whereas if you have that confidence and think, no,
mm,
I'm putting out confidence in positivity, there's enough for everyone here, not just in practitioner
yeah.
land, in everything, you know.
And I think the second house in astrology is all connected to self-worth. What and possessions is what I possess. And a lot of us confuse what I have with self-worth. Oh, I've got a big car, I've got a big house, I've got all of this going on. And and I've got lots of money. Or maybe not. But actually, self-worth comes from within, and it comes when you develop a skill. You find the skill that you inherently have. All of us will
Yes.
have a skill. Whether it's, I was talking to a client the other day and she said, "Do you know what my skill is? Mothering. I'm a great mother." Fantastic. So she can work with that skill, not just with her own family, but that's what she
Yeah.
she gives the world without giving herself away, because that's
Yeah.
really important. Other of us, we're communicators, or I don't know, we're adventurers. That's a skill, to go off and
Mm,
be a pilgrim or inspire people through the. If you think about Michael Palin, I mean, he had lots and lots of different. I mean, hugely amount of skills that he had. But I think
mm,
his those wonderful travel programs were hugely inspiring, and that's the gift, and that's the
yes.
skill that he gave us through his
Yeah.
communication. All of us have, so it's finding your skill, that unique skill that you were born with, to offer to the world. That gives you a sense of self-worth.
You are absolutely right. It's finding yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's really finding yourself. And I know that I'm going to bring the conversation back to me because that's my favorite subject, Sue, as you may have gathered. Everyone gathers that. But I can remember when I started off as a writer, I tried to be very intellectual. That didn't work, I can tell you. Like Donna Eden's husband, David Feinstein, is highly intellectual. I thought I could be like that to be accepted. Well, no, I'm not. And once I looked in, and as you say, you find your own gift, your own
Yeah.
style, you find you. I have a sense of humor. I want to bring it down to basics. I want to bring it down to language, self-care, that is, to language that my mum understands,
Yes.
and that you can laugh at. And once had the courage to be like that and not to be om and bliss, not to be intellectual, then what I did began to
Yeah.
flow. What I do began to flow.
And I think it's really great when you go, do you know what? That's not me. I'll leave it to somebody else to do.
Yes,
I think that's a really good place to
yes,
be in.
and not compare yourself.
Yeah. Will
That's
you?
the hard
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Because what's the point of comparing
Mm.
yourself? Because nobody else is you. Nobody else is ever going to do life like you do.
We're
That's the
unique,
gift.
Sue. We're unique.
All of us are. All of us are. We might
Mm.
feel that we're not. We might think, oh, well, I just, I don't know, I've just got a menial job and who cares? But you will have a
Mm.
skill that you can do something with. And maybe it is to be inspiring the people around you or
Yes.
being kind. That's a fabulous skill to have.
That is one of the
Just
loveliest
kindness.
things. A random act of kindness lifts the energy for you and the person you're kind to. And
Yeah.
we can all do that. And I think, okay, whoever's watching, I'm going to invite you. I'm not challenging you. I'm going to invite you for the next 7 days. No, no, not 7 days, for the next month until Sue and I come back on screen, that every day you do a little random act of kindness. And that
Yeah.
could just be smiling at someone in the supermarket queue and letting them go before you, because you've got a bit of time, and that young mother with a screaming child, she hasn't got time. Kindly let her go
Yeah.
first. Little things like that. And it radiates out. We talked last time about rippling out, and it's a lovely thing, and we can all do that. And some people really, really, really have a skill on that.
Oh, they do. And I always let cars out. You know, when you get to a junction and
Yes,
they can't get out, I always let cars out. I
yes,
don't do the whole row, but I'll do one or two. Why
yes,
not? And I think when
yes, I
you
do that too.
get into that vibe of, do you know what? Of course they can go. Of course,
It's
and give
a
them a
few
wave or a
seconds. Yeah.
smile. It is that sense. And I always think that the universe goes, oh, that's nice. Well, she'll that'll be paid back. And it is.
Exactly.
It always
It's
is.
all karma, isn't it? But the
Yes.
other thing as well, you let them out, and that person could be bad tempered, but further down the road,
Yeah.
unconsciously, they'll let someone out. Maybe
Exactly.
there's that
Yeah.
possibility there. So no, it is. What was the other? The other thing was, I wish I'd had the courage to express my feelings. And
Mm,
he was saying, often the person who was interviewing him said, and he's a doctor as well. He said, I never really had the courage in my early days to be me. I wanted to impress. So I projected a me that I knew was going to get approval, but it wasn't really me. I
mm.
wasn't expressing my true feelings, my authentic self. And I think that takes courage
Very
nowadays
well
to
does.
present your authentic self. But you
Mm.
need to. You
And
need to.
also to learn to own your feelings, not saying you made me feel like that. That's not helpful. But
No.
actually, this triggered something for me, or I felt this when this happened.
Yes.
And I think that it's growing emotionally mature that you're not constantly shoving things in other places, but you're taking
Yeah.
responsibility for what it triggered within you. And then that changes the relationship dynamic.
Really does. And Matte said something in this interview. You can tell I paid a lot of attention to this interview. So don't normally remember it like this so well. But I'm going to forget it now. I'm going to forget it now. No, no, no.
You're
It's
going to
come. Oh
remember
yeah.
it.
He said there's a wonderful phrase which he heard someone say. If you want to say something you're a bit uncomfortable about saying, like, um, what was his example? You're playing the saxophone at 3 a.m. in the morning, and I've got to get up and go to work at 5:30. Or maybe this was Stuart Wilde. I can't remember now. It was one of the two of them. But you just say, you know, I'm uncomfortable saying this to
Yeah.
you, but I need to say it,
Mm.
blah, 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 and say whatever it is. And I think that that is a hurdle which a lot of people need to get over. I have to sometimes. I'm a metal element, and sometimes it's something uh, is not pleasing to me, put it that way. I walk away rather than
Yeah.
say, actually, what you did, what you said, the way you behaved, whatever it is unacceptable to me, and this is why, and blah, blah,
Mm.
blah. Not being confrontational or anything bad like that, but just
Mm.
expressing what I really feel in the way that's as kind and calm as possible.
I think it's a really great thing to say. I feel when you are feeling uncomfortable and you know you've got to say something to change something, to own it and just say, I just need to say, I feel uncomfortable saying this. I think
Yes.
that's brilliant
It's a
because
it's a really,
it's a
really good
way
way.
in, isn't it? I'm feeling vulnerable. I don't know what's going to happen for this, but I need to say it. I think that's a great idea.
No, it's a non-confrontational way.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
because I just want to talk about it, I want to clear the air, I want to, want to be your
Yeah.
friend, but
Yeah.
has to be,
Yes.
again, it has to be authentic. So
Hmm.
what are you uncomfortable that you need to tell me, Sue?
Oh, about you.
No, I
Maddie, I feel
don't.
uncomfortable saying
Well, I'm uncomfortable saying this to you, Susan.
that.
But
It is.
we're friends, and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
That's the other thing is a number of people said, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends, and realizing too late in the day how nourishing
Mm.
friendship, companionship, and community can be. And I think I put my hand up on that because I've been a real worker bee all my life, really, really worked hard, and that busyness sometimes was at the expense of nurturing and nourishing my relationships. You
I
know,
think the other thing is, Maddie, we forget to have fun.
you got to play. We have to
Play
play.
is so important. And when you feel like shit and the chips are down, you don't
Yeah.
feel like playing. But there is this, it's such an important part of life. And I've spent a lot of my life taking it too seriously.
Oh,
That's
yes,
my
me too.
discomfort. I've really taken life seriously. And now
We
I'm
do now,
older,
there, do we?
I'm able not to do that so
Yeah.
much. And I'm playing a lot more than I've ever played before. It's taken
And
this long.
it's taken me, I'm with you on that, Sue. I'm absolutely with you on that. And what it's taken me this long is I love playing, but I also like time out and time out to sit with my back against a tree and read
Mm.
a book.
Yeah.
Sometimes playing for me I tell you, the other day I went for lunch with a group of friends and we were all so silly. No alcohol past our lips, I might add, but we were so silly. And when you laugh
Yeah.
so much as that when you
Yes.
were a child, my stomach hurt the next day. I
Mm.
laughed with wild abandon, and we all did. Of course, it's infectious then. A whole lot of us were really
Yeah.
rowdy and everything. So sometimes it's that, and sometimes it's being, because I'm metal, so I love being alone. It's being alone with the dogs, take a book out
Yeah.
into the woods and read with a
Yeah.
little I'll tell you what, though, I am getting an old lady because I have to have my little thermos flask with me. I think of it.
Nothing wrong with that, Maddie. You've got to have your comfort too, and you got your
Yeah.
cushion with you and your blankie in case you
That's why I
get
have a little
cold.
rucksack, little blanket, so I get my bottom wet when I sit on the forest floor, and
Yeah,
my little dog bowl and water for the dogs, my little thermos of tea, my
yeah,
book, and I'm well set. I'm
yeah.
really happy bunny then.
Yeah, and I think it's just to go back to, when you feel you can't have joy in your life.
Yeah.
I went through a time about, oh gosh, it's a while ago now, And I believed I could never be happy again. I could not, and this went on for several years.
Yes.
It was grey. I'll
Mm.
put life was grey. And I mean, I look back on it now, and of course, I feel completely differently because life is certainly not great. It's hugely colourful.
Yes.
But at the time, I felt that. And it was very helpful when I told a friend that I said, I don't think I can't imagine ever being happy again. And all they did was they didn't try and fix me. They
No.
just went, that's all. That's all that happened.
Mm.
And it was so lovely to be heard,
It is lovely to be
not to be
heard,
fixed,
and
but to be
you know
heard.
that caringly heard, someone's
Yes, yes,
caringly hearing you, listening and
yes.
hearing. And I have found a huge comfort in my life, and we've all had tough times where
Mm,
I think, and this too shall pass.
yes.
And I might say to myself, excuse my language, I say, well, it's not going to pass because I'll never get up off this mat. I am so low
Yeah.
on the ground, I'm never going to get up.
Mm,
But there's always this little voice saying, just
yeah.
honor how you feel now. This is real grief or this is real pain, but it will
Mm,
ease. There is a choice. You need to always have an eye
mm,
for the light, for the
yeah.
joy, for the comfort, for we talked about random acts of kindness, and
Yeah.
suddenly you have little people being. I've been so touched in my life from the most unexpected places when I've been
Mm,
down. Tiny little thoughtful gestures which have
yeah.
brought me up a little bit,
Yeah.
and
You know,
we come out of it. But at the time,
yeah.
all you can do is honor it, but know that this too shall pass. I try not to think that when times are good.
No,
Oh no, no,
I'm there
this
with you, but
needn't pass. This is a
I'm
good
aware of
phase.
it.
Mm.
I'm not that, I don't, right, everything's fantastic.
No,
I'm very
no.
aware that I have been through
I
these
think
times. But
I
I
think
just want
if
to
you
go back to random acts of kindness.
yeah,
When you're walking down the street, when I walk down the street and I feel somebody's misery, I always send them as much love as I possibly can. They have no idea what
no,
I'm doing, but I do. And whether they want it or not there's no
there's
words
no
want to be
love.
exchanged, but I just give them a blast of universal love. I do because I know that place. I know that place of misery.
And if you are truly living your life, I remember someone once saying, anyone who lives flatline, they're not really living their life, And the fact of the matter is, if you
Mm,
are experiencing a life, you will go up and you will go down,
yeah,
and you will do big peaks and troughs. And on
yeah,
each of those troughs, that's where we learn our spiritual lesson, I think,
yeah,
and then we sort of come up and there's a limbo and things are good and there's contentment, and then something in you and your spirit thinks, right, we're going to go down again now, maybe not as deep as last time,
yeah,
and there's another lesson learned. And
yeah.
I do try, I mean, I sound so together, and I'm not always together when I'm actually doing it, but I always try to think, what is the lesson in here? What is life trying to teach me that I'm just not getting?
I go
You
to
know?
the core belief that I'm holding,
Mm,
which normally goes, I'm in the core belief. My normal core belief is I'm fatally flawed, I'm broken. And that often will come up when I'm feeling like shit. And it sort of comes up again and again. And I think, oh, you old friend, here you go again. So it's what is that core belief? And when I recognize it and soothe it
mm,
and help it, it's just this very, very sad inner child. And that helps me release
mm,
that painful
mm.
those painful feelings. And God, when they're painful, it's physically uncomfortable.
I
Horrible.
know.
Horrid, horrid, horrid. Maddie, is there anything you'd like to say to close us up today?
No, I would just say for all these things that we've talked about today, Sue, for me, the key thing is every single day I try and have, even if it's 10 or 15 minutes of peace, of
Mm,
stillness. Because if you can keep in a world that's going crazy, in your personal world that's going crazy, and your emotions that are going crazy, anything like that, if you can bring yourself back to stillness every day, and often that's just with breathing or a
Yeah.
little energy, daily energy exercise routine, whatever your thing is, or just sitting quietly in nature and just get rooted and grounded and come back to default almost,
Yeah.
or towards default.
Mm.
That really helps you. And you can think of these things every day. You can think, am I living a life that's true to myself? Am I working too hard? Am I neglecting myself, my family, my kids, my friendships? Am I expressing myself authentically? Today I'm going to call that friend I've never called before. Actually, Sue, one second. There was research I read about this week that, and I'm going to forget exactly what it said. Oh, tract. Oh, this is the awful thing, postmenopause. Oh, that was good. Oh, I've forgotten it now. Sorry. Um,
Well, we'll do it next week
yeah,
and
we'll do it
next
next
month.
week because
You'll,
I'll remember by then.
you'll remember it then. But yes, just the human condition is the human condition,
Yeah,
and that's what we're experiencing.
I
And
know what it was.
whichever, go for it.
Before I forget, that's why I'm always
Go on.
interrupting you, so otherwise
Yeah,
I forget
that's all
it.
right.
That they did this research, and one of the main causes of loneliness in people, whatever age, but particularly as that people get older, is they suddenly find that they were the ones that made all the effort, that made the phone call, that fixed the meetings, that, did the social calendar. And if they stepped back and didn't make the call, weeks or months may go by and friendships and communities dissipate, and they are left feeling lonely, and they're left feeling, well, they didn't really want to be with me because now I'm not initiating anything, nothing's happening. And I
Yeah.
think there is a need in all of us nowadays to make an effort and call a friend, do something. So
Yeah.
I know you're busy. Let's just have
Yeah.
coffee for half an hour
Yeah.
or something like that.
And it's the cycle of giving and receiving. If we're
Yes.
constantly giving out, we become a victim to it. And if we're constantly just constantly receiving, dragging people into
Yeah.
our world to give us
Give and
everything,
take.
we become a persecutor
Yeah.
actually. So it is this sense of what does giving and receiving mean for you?
Yeah.
On that
So my
level,
final word,
go on, go on,
sorry,
yeah,
my
go
final
for a
word
final
is,
word. Go for it.
what would make you happy? Not what you think other people
Yeah.
you need to be happy. What would really make you
Yeah.
happy?
Or
And do it.
give you peace, give you ease and
Yeah.
peace. Yeah. Okay, Dave. Well, Maddie, I love this conversation. I love our conversations. So, and we'll see each other next month.
We will indeed. And thank you,
So,
thank you, thank you for joining us.
yeah, and thank you all of us. And if you like what you've heard, give us a like, leave a comment. We love
Yes.
hearing from you, and we love the fact our subscriptions are going up. So
Are
it's
they?
just yeah. So it's just lovely to have you all with us. And as we said, we're
It
all
really
just
is.
passing through this mad thing called life.
Yeah.
Take
So
care
listen.
for now.
Bye bye.
Bye.